James, what are you looking at for the remainder of the year? I mean, obviously, we all talked about Bitcoin. We all spoke about the layer ones. I think that's become the obvious narrative. And, if you kind of look at I'm going to call it our calls, but if you look at our model portfolios, you can see that the hodl ones are the ones that we're all comfortable to hodl, which is, if you look at them, they majority, or they're all actually layer ones. And then when you go to the gems and you go slightly more risky, they become dexes and cross-chain protocols and stuff like that. What narratives are you looking at now?
Well, I'm looking at, first of all, I look at the macro world, and just we're heading down the path of a reset real fast. I mean, if you look at like the central banks and the Feds, etc., they've all lost control. Money printing will continue, and that points to the whole Bitcoin store of value narrative in a big way. Then you've got all the mess of, China shut down, supply chains, inflation is going to continue, energy costs are going to explode. So again, points towards the whole world of Bitcoin. Now, the other thing that I look at is, again, I go after the big prizes, and I still think DeFi is huge, and that points to layer ones, some layer twos. The privacy stuff, was never too into the privacy stuff because I believe that the institutional investors won't invest in privacy because it's frowned upon by regulators, gives them a black eye. But I do believe there is a need for it. If there's a way they can get a friendly solution, that would be red hot right now, especially in Europe.
What I was about to say, I think what we've seen in Europe is not going to be, I think it's going to become much more prevalent down the line. And so I think that privacy plays, like I thought last night, if I was in Europe, what would I do? And what I would do is I would have put my money into a Tornado Cash or a mixer. Let's use Tornado Cash as a mixer for now. I would create a burner account, which is my intermediary account between me and the exchange. That would be one KYC account, but that account would only ever interact with Tornado Cash. And that way they can KYC my interim wallet. So I'd get my money off the exchange, and then I would do whatever transactions I want through Tornado Cash, and then they could never trace any of my other wallets. Now, I don't recommend that anybody in Europe try that because, I don't think that you should unless you want to, because, maybe you want to. But I thought that narrative would actually really take off. I think another narrative, which makes a narrative, is decentralized KYC. So decentralized identity, because I guess that's probably one thing that I haven't seen much of, which is decentralized KYC. Where are the decentralized identity KYC providers using some kind of zero knowledge proof or something?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because I think Matic just came out with something. I didn't dig too deep into it, but some caste system registration platform within India. I thought that was kind of interesting. I just think all of the stuff that's happening in the world, the whole macro backdrop is pushing the world at 100 miles an hour towards decentralization, towards DEXs, towards mixers, etc. The problem that the regulators don't understand is they don't understand the space. And they don't understand how easy it is to evade the space. And the smart money will move. The people that will be left with their pants down, they're not moving a lot of money anyway. So I'm not that concerned about the European regs. And you can see that the Bitcoin price isn't concerned that much either. And April's going to be a great month. So we'll see.
I think April's going to be a great month. We also know that, I saw this, which I don't usually like these things, but I saw a tweet around April being, traditionally, here we go. So historically, the most bullish month, the tune of plus 1.68. So historically, April is a very, very, very good month. I don't usually follow this bullshit because I just think if you look for the statistic and you look for the pattern, you'll find the pattern. One last thing I do want to talk to you guys before we go, and I think, James, probably you're the most qualified to talk about this here, and that is the inverted yield rate, the inverted yield curve. What does this actually mean for the layman who's watching the show? And they've heard all this talk about recession. And they've heard all this talk about, when the 2-year crosses the 10-year, then, we're definitely talking about recession territory. Maybe just walk us through what that means.
Yeah, it's real simple. It's typically the first red alarm fire that the financial markets have broken. So imagine you want to borrow, and this happened yesterday, and it happened again this morning with the employment law. If you can borrow for a 30-year fixed rate at a cheaper rate that you can borrow a 5-year rate, then the markets are broken. So who ever would do that? Who would borrow short term? So this is basically what this points to. And here you can see the crossing of the 10 and the 2-year on the US Treasury. And all of the financial markets are really, really broken right now. We saw the yen lose 9% a few days ago in one day. For a currency that's large, that is that big, to lose that much value overnight is staggering. It's like a meme token almost. So again, it's real simple. The financial markets, the debt markets, the bond markets, all broken. The monetary system has lost control. The central banks have lost control. They're panicking. They don't know what to do. They are backed into a corner. And I just tweeted something yesterday, actually, on that. I talked about just the US debt per capita, the growth of the US debt, and the amount that's taxed per family, per individual, and how either the population of the US needs to grow by 50x, assuming there is no increase in debt over time, or the taxation will take something like 48,000 years to pay off the debt that exists today. Everything is bankrupt. And that's the problem. And people need a hard asset. So whoever you are out there, get a hard asset. I don't care if it's a piece of land or a piece of Bitcoin, get some. Because the next 5 years, maybe even shorter time frame now, I used to say 5 to 10 years, there would be that big monetary reset. Now it could be 24 months away for all we know.
If you like this clip, subscribe to this channel and hit the bell notification. You'll be notified every time that we drop content on this channel. This channel is dedicated to people just like you who are time-starved and need a microdose of crypto content.